Hi, this is Michael from Coastal Hippie Design, and I'm about to show you how to apply shellac for a table, or if it was a cube, you could do it as a cube as well. With this kit that I have here set up is basically what you would need. And you would have the shellac, you'd have a rag to apply the shellac that's in a plastic bag. I have it folded a certain way, that's why it's in the bag, plus to keep it clean. A stirring stick, because you want to stir the shellac first, and ideally you'd like to put the shellac into a different container so it's easy to dip the rag into. Then another rag to clean the table after you sand, and then sandpaper. I have the largest sheets are 220, the smallest sheet is 320. Now with these larger sheets, I have them folded in a certain manner, and that's just because it's the best way to sand without damaging the other paper. And then also a pair of gloves. You don't even really need the gloves because shellac is a safe product, but it might make your fingers a little sticky, but you can wash it off in water. Also, the shellac has no smell and it dries quickly. It's a really good finish. Well, anyway, the first thing you want to do is you want to make sure you're in good light so you can see what you're doing. And then you want to sand the whole table. And with shellac bonds to the next coat. So most ridges and everything will come out as soon as you put another layer on it. It's all going to bond as to one smooth coat. So, you know, but the sanding will get it nice. You try to get it nice and smooth with the sanding. Now, you're not going to be sanding the actual wood. You're going to be sanding the finish. So if you have to kind of get into an area, you can go against the grain because you're not onto the wood. But anyhow, you go over the whole thing with the 220, and then when that's done, you come back with the 320, and just, you don't want to work that edge, but you just want to kind of blend what you just sanded so it's all smooth, and you just kind of come around there. That's all you would really need. And then you could probably come across the field with the 320 because it will make a little bit of a smaller scratch pattern. Okay, so this all feels pretty good right now. You know you're sanding because you got the white dust on both of your sandpapers, and that means that you're at a good spot. Now you want to take your wet rag, and it's not soaking wet, it's just damp. And you want to wipe off the dust off the table. You don't want to rub it like this and spread it around. So you kind of just go like this and get it off the table. And this is why it's good to be in a good light so you can see what you're doing. And then get your edge wherever way you're going to hit with the finish. All right. And so give it a few minutes to dry. And then you want to go ahead and stir up your shellac that will be in this jar. And if you have trouble getting the cover of the jar off, you could use the rubber gloves or something to get a good grip to remove this jar. And pour your shellac into another container, and then use your dipping rag that has been provided. I'm going to use one that I already have been using. All right, so what you would do is you dip the rag into the shellac, and you can dip it in pretty good. All right, because even if you drip on the table, whatever you have, any finish on the table can be spread out. And what I do is I make sure I'm in a good light, and then you just come slowly across your table. Now I do my first stroke off the edge, and then I bring it back into the edge. And you want to lap each stroke. And that's why it's important to be able to see what you're doing. And it seems to be the slower you move your rag, the smoother it's going to end up being. But shellac is a very forgiving finish, and you want to keep it wet. So, and like I said, if you get like drips like that or little puddles, you could always blend it in. But you do not want to go over the area that you have just gone over, because shellac dries so quickly that it'll be like almost sticky. So that's why you just kind of work it like this. You go over the immediate one, but you don't want to come back over here and wipe away on this edge. That edge is done already. So, and what I usually do when I get about halfway on the table, I'll come across this edge and just blend this whole edge all the way around without dripping underneath. But you could kind of take it underneath to just prevent any drips. And then you come back and finish the table. And see, I bring it up like that, so if it's gonna drip, it's gonna drip on the area that I need to refinish. I don't wanna go across the area that I have just done. And what I'm doing here is I'm just trying to lightly let the weight of the rag just, sometimes you'll see a little bit of a run or something. And so now, when this dries, this will dry really quickly, maybe 20 minutes or less. I would wait, if you were to put another coat on it, I would wait a few hours. You could wait even until the next day and start the whole thing over. You don't have to sand it again unless you want to. You could actually put another coat on probably within an hour if you weren't going to sand it. But sometimes you sand it before it's fully dry, it gets a little gummy in the sandpaper. But anyway, you could wait another 6 months and put another coat on. You could do this every once in a while. So, and it's once it dries, it's going to improve as it's drying. That's about it.